मालवीय जी के चरणों में प्रणाम करते हुए और उनके आशीर्वाद की उम्मीद के साथ कि वो हम लोगों को इतना आशीर्वाद देंगे कि हम लोग उनके बनाए हुए रास्ते पे चले और आगे उन्हीं के बनाए रास्ते पे काम करते हुए अपने इंस्टीट्यूट की और देश की तरक्की के रास्ते पे आगे बढ़ेंगे. This program is related with our lecture series, which we are putting to, which we are organizing to encourage our students, so that the students can understand that regarding the different fields, and so that they can choose come in the academics with in a more prepared manner. And in this effort, we request the eminent scientists to deliver the talk related with their research fields, so that the students can understand the specific basics of that specific field and can be motivated to opt for the research in that field. So I welcome Professor A.K. Singh sir in this online lecture series. And sir, thank you very much for giving your valuable time on Sunday. But I am forced to ask it on Sunday so that the maximum number of students can enjoy it and attend it. And as this program is for students training, so I give this opportunity to a student that she gets the opportunity to introduce the speaker. So today this opportunity has been given to Miss Prerna. Prerna, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Prerna, switch on your video also.
Good morning,
Yes,
ma'am.
Prerna.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. This is Prerna Thakur, a student from BSc second year, and I take the pride privilege of introducing our guest speaker for today's seminar. As we all know that Banaras Hindu University got the glorious record of having exceptional alumni. Our guest scientist for today's seminar is one of the legacy bearers, Dr. Abhay Singh Kumar, Dr. Abhay Kumar Singh, Professor, Department of Physics, BHU, Coordinator of Indian Space Research Organization, SSPS program of Space Physics to BHU. In his research journey of 30 years, Professor has successfully completed over 16 research projects with study of VLF whistlers and VHF scintillations as his title of thesis. Owning teaching experience of 25 years, he has designed several courses for betterment of students, new specialization in space physics to name one. He has also been part of many marked fellowships, Boy Scouts by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Senior Research Fellowship by CSIR to list a few. Young Scientist Award by Bihar Council of Science and Technology is also amongst one of his achievements. As a scientist, among his field of research interest, studying ionospheric irregularities using VHF and GPS scintillations, VLF whistlers, mode waves, and seismoelectromagnetics to study earthquake precursors are prominent. To bring up the budding scientist in us, he has also established an atmospheric research laboratory in Department of Physics, BHU, with advanced equipments like GPS receivers, VLF receiver, VHF receivers, BL lidar, ozonometer, to name a few. It's an honor to have you here, sir, and we welcome you with great gratitude.
Thank you for this introduction. So I am also thankful to Professor Neelam Srivastava for giving this opportunity. Basically, this lecture I have planned for interaction. It is not a very high research activities. This is for BSc students. So I planned it in two parts. My lecture is divided into two parts. First part, I will try to discuss with the space weather. This is the new topic of space weather. In India, it is started very recently, but in US and European countries, it is already going on. So we have to be familiar with this space weather. What is the space weather? Why it is so important? What are the effect of space weather on our near Earth environment? And then I will show you some videos and some slides and some beautiful images of space weather to get familiar with this topic. And I will give you some of the results because it will give me opportunity to what is going on in my laboratory of atmospheric research laboratory and Department of Physics. And then the second part of the lecture is more interesting. This is I have included by the request of Professor Neelam Srivastava. I have included the Indian Space Program. You are familiar with the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. So I have included some slides on the Indian Space Program. What is going on in Indian Space Program and how you get your career? How can you align yourself? And how can you come in different winter school, summer school? What are the institutions? And then how can you motivate yourself to start the space research? So that will be fine for you also. I think I am audible to all of you. So now I'm going to share my slides for you. Just I am sharing my slides to you, and I will give the space weather. Is my slides is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes.
For those who are not getting the slide, please pin. Sometime it is not visible to all, so you have to go to my face and you can log in with this pin the space weather. So those who are not getting, please pin. Okay, I am audible.
Yes,
Sir. Yes,
You
sir.
are audible and visible. Yeah, you can start, sir.
Okay, fine. So my today topic is space weather and its effects. So space weather is a very, very important topic, which I have already explained you. So I will give you the definition of a space weather, and this is a very emerging field of research, and its effect on any Earth environment. I will try to talk. So I have explained the first part. I will give you a brief introduction about the space weather, and then we will try to know the some space weather events by some beautiful videos recorded by the satellites of the different international satellites available. And then we will talk about the effect of a space weather. What are the facilities available in BHU to do this research? And then we talk about the GPS, Global Positioning System installed in 2 GPS in Banaras University. So I will talk about those. And then I will go some results of solar flares, geometric storms, solar eclipse, etc. And the second part is more interesting for all of you. It is Indian Space Program. It is general for all audience. And what are the different ISRO's satellites like Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan, the coming Gaganyaan and the Aditya mission of solar. I will also discuss not all, some of the interesting satellite mission of a space physics part of view. So what are space weather? Definition is very important. A space weather is the variation in solar energy emission. That is the energy coming from the solar prominences, solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and then it goes to the solar wind and it reaches to the magnetosphere and ionosphere and then the thermosphere. How they are influencing our variety of a spaceborne and ground-based technical system. So a space weather is a weather between sun and earth. In general, if you wanted to know the general, it is between sun and earth, the weather between sun and earth. What are the changes going on sun and how those changes affecting our earth environment is the topic of a space weather. Why they are important? Because a space weather is recognized as the cause of significant errors experienced by global satellite navigation system, GNSS system, GPS system, satellite-based system. Nowadays, we are depending upon satellite. There are thousands of satellites running in the space, and these are controlling our day-to-day life. All mobile technology, TV technology, all communication is depending upon these satellites. So we are very much affected by our satellite, and this space weather affects our satellites. They uses the error. Suppose GPS is using the aviation, the flight, landing, and takeoff, and it calculates the position. And if there is error due to a space weather phenomena, this may be cause damage in the different landing and satellites. So it is a very important. So we will discuss today what is space weather. So what are the solar active region? We are familiar with the sun. Sun is a very, very active. So sun has interior and atmosphere because so space weather related with the sun. So you will see this is the diagram showing the interior of the sun, in which the center of the sun there are thermonuclear reaction. You are familiar, the thermonuclear reaction is going on, 2 hydrogen combined to form helium, and enormous amount of energy is elected in form of gamma rays, and this gamma ray goes. So there is a core region where nuclear fusion is going on. And there is a radiative zone. The second layer is known as radiative zone, where nuclear radiation goes, and that converts from gamma ray to X-ray, then X-ray to UV, UV to visible, and you will surprised to know that almost all electromagnetic radiation is emitted from the sun. So sun is the ideal black body. This you are familiar. The sun is a source of almost all electromagnetic radiation, and the upper layer of the interior of the sun. So that is known as the upper layer is known as so this is known as convection zone. There are convection cycles. So these convection cycles are running, and the plasma is moving from interior to surface. And when this plasma is moving, they correct it to the magnetic field of the sun. And sometimes they come out of the surface of the sun and they produce a coronal mass injection. They produce solar prominences. The dark spots, you are familiar with the surface. These dark spots are known as sunspots. They occur mostly in pairs, and lots of energy emitted from the sun from these dark spots, which is known as sunspots. So sunspots are cooler and darker region on solar surface, and it is the main region of the activity of the sun. So solar activity are measured by the number of sunspots. If sunspot is large, solar activity is large. If the sunspot is less, the number of activity is less. So solar prominences are more active when there is a large group of sunspots. So we will discuss some of these activities. So what are solar active regions? So solar active region are sunspot. You will see the zoomed version of sunspot, how it looks. There are two regions, the darker and cooler region. This is the surface of the sun, and you will see the sunspots. The size is so big, you imagine. You see, compare the size with Earth and the sun. The size of the sunspot is bigger than the size of the Earth. Earth is around 6,000 kilometer radius, and here you will see they are more than 10,000 to 20,000 kilometers. So radius is so much, a sun can easily go inside the sunspot. The sunspot looks very small, but it are not really sunspots. There are two regions. One is known as umbra, and this is called penumbra. So these are the sunspots. They are coming from inside the sun, and they have polarity. Because they have magnetic activity is large. They are cooler because the temperature of the surface of the sun is 5,800 Kelvin, and the sunspots are about 3,000. So they look cool. They look black and cooler. A magnetic field is very large here. Magnetic field is large with the surroundings, and this region prominences are coming on. The second activity is solar flare. What are solar flares? Solar flares are enormous release of energy in few minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. 10 to the power 26 joule energy is emitted. That is a flash of light. This energy in two forms. One is the form of radiation, that is X radiation, UV radiation, and another is the form of the particle. The different particles from sun, that is the electron, proton, high energy particles will be emitted in whole solar system. That's why there is a coronal mass injection. CMEs, you will see sun is covered here, so we will see the bright particles are going out. I will show you some video, then you will becomes more interesting. And what are the solar magnetic loops? Magnetic loops, there are group of sunspots. This is this image taken from the surface of the sun by the TRACE satellite, and you can see that there are group of sunspots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lots of bright regions, and the plasma is going from one sunspot to another sunspot, one sunspot to another sunspot. So they are moving from one to one, and they sometimes combine to form a loop, and they detach. So these are called solar magnetic loops, solar prominences. So these are the very, very active regions. And I will show you the solar flares, because what are solar flares? They are very, very large solar flares. You will see here the plasma is coming from here, it is going up and down. So large plasma is emitted sometimes. You will see the diameter of this prominence, thousands of kilometers size. You can imagine the size of the Earth. Earth is so small here. So if Earth is very far away from here, it is the distance between the sun and Earth is 1 astronomical unit. So they not directly reach, but the plasma particles coming from sun will be able to reach the Earth, and they are affecting our Earth environment. So there is a sudden and explosive release of energy. 10 to the power 25 joule energy is released from this localized region, and this is known as solar prominences. The solar flares occurs in active region around sunspot, where the intense magnetic field penetrates the photosphere and then the corona. So whole coronal system, the corona is covered by the particles and energy. So how the sun and Earth interacts? So see, Earth is a magnetic region. Earth has one magnetic field. So if you see Earth has a dipole magnetic field, there is a north pole in the south region and south pole in the north region. So magnetic field lines coming from here and here. So from North Pole, South Pole here it is, so you say. So from here, North Pole to South Pole, they goes magnetic lines, and it is ideal dipole. But when the plasma from the sun, this is the sun, active sun, you can see the interior and the active regions, plages, coronal mass injections, prominences, sunspots, all are visible here. So when solar particles coming from sun to earth, they make a force. So this plasma is coming here, and this is the earth magnetic field. Earth has a magnet. Initially it is the ideal dipole, but when the particles coming from sun, they compress the day side. So day side magnetic field lines are compressed. You will see here very easily the day side magnetic field lines compressed, and it elongates and it stretches the night side. So night side will go, becomes very large. So distance from this magnetic field is around 10 earth radii, and night side it becomes 40 to 60 earth radii. So this is called magnetosphere. This is a cavity is formed due to the earth magnetic field, and you will surprised to know that earth magnetic field is the most important, magnetosphere the most important, by which the life is very much easy here. Otherwise, if there is no magnetosphere, if earth has no magnetic field, we have to live as Neil Armstrong has taken the view. If you are going on moon, because on moon there is no magnetic field, so persons landing on moon have to wear a dome, they have to wear the special dresses, but because the particles of solar particles are entering their body, and all astronauts in this space wear the special dress. So if there is no magnetic field, we have also to wear the Neil Armstrong dress, we have to wear the special dresses. And these particles are so energetic, they will rupture your DNA. So these will enter in body and rupture your DNA, and cancer and different diseases can be occurred very easily. So astronauts' life is very much in danger when they go in this space. But we are happy that these particles are not able to reach due to the cavity form, which is known as magnetosphere. And this is the interaction between sun and earth. And these particles not enter from day side, they go in the night side, and along the geometric these particles are reaching, and they reach earth. So there is a connection between the sun and earth, not directly interact, but from the night side this will enter, and we have interaction between solar particle, and it will generate different types of phenomena. That is the aurora. You are familiar with the aurora, certain burning. I will show you the auroral emissions. So I will give you videos. Here I will show you some video. So if you are not able to visualize, I will repeat 1 and 2 times also. So this is the sun-earth interaction which I have shown you. So this is the sun, active sun is here. So this is the sun, and active sun is emitting the plasma particles. So solar emission, coronal mass injection has gone. Lots of particle has emitted from the sun, and these particles are going over the whole solar system, in the whole solar system. And when it comes toward earth, it interacts with the magnetic field. Some of the magnetic field lines are broken and they go to the night side, and there is a magnetic cavity is formed. They enter from the night side, the particles enter from the night side and gyrate along the magnetic field lines and come along the North Pole and South Pole in the two regions which are known as auroral region, 70 to 80 degree latitude on north, 70 to 80 degree latitude on south. So these are called auroral region, in which the aurora is seen. I will show you the aurora. Aurora is a certain burning in the sky. So initially people thought that God is angry, a sky becomes green, a sky becomes red, a sky becomes violet. So the peoples living in polar regions, they surprised. Again, I will show you the video. So you will visualize this video. So how this is going on. So particles coming from sun, will we go on all solar system, and when they come to the earth, they compress the day side. Some of the magnetic flux are transmitted from day side to night side, and they try to enter from the night side. The particle enter from the night side, they go along geometric field lines, and they come on the northern side. So aurora borealis, aurora aurealis, Australia and New Zealand the south pole, and Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark in the north pole, where people will see the aurora. So this is a very, very interesting and direct connection between the sun and earth. How the solar filaments, I have shown you the figure. Here you will see how they rises. So group of sun spots are here. Particle coming from sun, one spot to other spots, and they grow slowly and slowly. When they grow slowly and slowly, they generates the plasma. So I will show you. So how these coronal mass injection and how the solar flares are shown here. You will see it. This diagram will clearly show how the solar filaments will rise. So they grow, these filaments grow to 2000 to 4000 kilometers large, and they sometimes erupted, and this is called erupting prominences. So these filaments you can visualize, and solar formation here you see, again you will see the particles. So one prominence is going from, it is rising and rising and rising and rising, and slowly in few minutes they becomes very large, and they also combine to form together, they join together, and this upper portion will be released as a solar flare. So this is known as solar flare. You heard about the magnetic yeah.
सर सोलर
Any?
स्पोर्ट्स अर्थ के मैग्नेटिक फील्ड को अफेक्ट करता है, उससे हम लोग को कुछ नहीं हो सकता सर?
देखिए सोलर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड तो है ही, लेकिन हमारे पास बहुत दूर है, हम जो है 1 एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट डिस्टेंस पे है, अराउंड 1.5 इंटू 10 टू द पावर 15 मीटर जो है दूर है हम, तो वो पार्टिकल हमारे पास पहुंचता है, उसकी एनर्जी पहुंचती है, लेकिन हमारे पास मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है. We have a earth magnetic field. This magnetic field stop these particles. These particles are deflected from the earth magnetic field, and they will go directly, and they come from the night side, and they enter along the geometry field line. They start to gyrating, and the mega electron volt becomes a few electron volt, and they reach, and when they reach at the 200-300 kilometers in the ionosphere, they interact with the ionosphere. Some of the ions goes to the higher state, and they emits the aurora region. That's why we get the red, green, and emission of the aurora. So that will happen. So again, you see the formation of solar flare. We will discuss lots of questions I know you have in mind. So we will this is the increase of the solar flare. So the solar flare increases, and just few minutes they grow, and they releases energy as a coronal mass energy, 10 to the power 6 joule energy release, and this energy is sufficient to dilate the whole world for a week. So coronal mass, this diagram is very, very interesting. So here I have just covered the sun, and you will see that there are two comets. There are two comets try to enter the sun. You will see very, very interesting video is this. You will see here. You see the coronal mass. Two. You will see here, and the corona is emitted. This is called coronal mass injection, and lots of energy. Here you will see. Here you will see lots of energy is going on the direction. So in few minutes, several particles from sun will emit all the direction. If it is in the earth direction, the earth system will be changed. Earth magnetic field will compress. The earth magnetic field will change, and it is called a geomagnetic storm. Geomagnetic storm is the drastic change in the earth magnetic field when there is a solar flare, when there is a coronal mass injection. So these are known as CME, coronal mass injection. So then I do for the formation of aurora, which I am talking about. Auroral emission is the direct appearance between sun and earth. So you will see this video. So particles are going up, making the prominence. It is a video designed for the students, and the particles are coming from, and it is released from the surface of the earth, sun, and released in the all direction. Coronal mass injection are released, and when they go in the whole solar system, they passes through the Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. In the whole solar system, you will see they are closing. This is the Jupiter. They are going to Mercury. They are going to Mars. They are interacting with our satellites. And when they come, this is the cavity form. This is known as magnetosphere. This is the Earth is here. The magnetic field lines of Earth. The day side, it is the night side. And this cavity will deflect. You will see these particles are coming. They interact, and they are deflected away. They are deflected away because Earth cavity magnetic field, but they are entering from the night side. And when they come, they form the auroral region. Here you will see. This is called auroral region, 70 to 80 degree. And this is the formation of aurora. So people living in the Eskimos area, that is the Sweden, Norway, Finland, which is called Scandinavian countries, they see in the sky, sky becomes whole beautiful green, sky becomes whole red, and people thought that God is angry. But in 1900, when the sun and solar wind was invented and solar flare was invented, people are able to know that aurora is nothing but the solar wind particles coming and entering. So again, you see this video, then we will discuss how the aurora is forming. So you will see again this video. This is a very interesting video, and it will confirm the interaction between sun and earth. A space weather phenomena, how entering the earth system. So 70 degree to 80 degree. Anybody going in the Sweden and Norway can see. Anybody living in Australia and New Zealand can see. And this is a very, very interesting. People go with the countryside, and they will take the camera and they photograph, and there is a award on this photograph. There is a several dollar awards. People take the photograph because there is a part and parcel of their life. So this whole solar system and the whole Earth system near whatever interacted with these particles, and these particles, this is the cavity. That's why we are in the safe zone. They are not directly interacted. Sometimes this particle interact with the night side and they go along geometric field lines and they come in the ionosphere where they ionize the particles, and you will see this is the region where aurora is seen, and satellite image also seen. This is the aurora. People can see this type of photograph. I will see more photographs. Any question somebody is wanted to know? Hello. Okay.
Sir,
So,
some students have been asked to ask the question at the end of the, so they will not.
Not any problem, not any problem. So you will see the auroral display. This is the video. You can say if you photograph in the upside, there is a violet aurora, there is a green aurora, there is a red aurora, because the emission line, nitrogen, oxygen, because the dominant ion is the oxygen O+. The atomic oxygen is the dominant in the ionosphere at 200 kilometer, and then the nitrogen ion N2+, and then there is a dominant. So these oxygen and nitrogen emissions in the green, red and violet. So we are seeing the green, red and violet region. There is a full topic of aurora in a space physics teaching. We are teaching a space physics. This is for all of you. Department of Physics has a special program, and we are teaching the specialized space physics, where the full topic of aurora we will teach all the students. It is also, I will advertise you the auroral teaching and how this is affecting, how the space weather phenomena which you have visualized is affecting our communication. This is a beautiful video. A person is watching the Madonna, and Madonna is giving a program, and this satellite, this is the inside satellite which is transmitting the signal to the TV program by satellite communication. And similarly, the space weather particle has got billions of particles, and they produce the current in eddy current, and there is a phase lock loop, and TV transmission is degraded, and there is no control on mobile. There is no control on your channel. You are not able to rectify it after few or 5 minutes or 7 minutes. This can be rectified. So this is the direct effect of a space weather, because these forms the plasma bubbles. These form the plasma particles which stops, and there is a electronics. Neelam is going very better. There is a phase lock loop. There is a phase lock loop, and the signal is just locked for few minutes, and the transmission is degraded. So there is a direct evidence, and communication signal will be directly affected by the space weather particles, and the ionosphere is responsible for that, and plasma bubble formation will degrade the transmission. So TV transmission, radio transmission, mobile transmission, which is depending upon the satellite communication, will be degraded for few minutes. That's why the study in space weather will enhance the communication, and we can rectify the problem. We can change the different frequency bands, and then we are able to improve our telecast and telecommunication. So this space weather research has a direct evidence of this. How they are affecting our satellites? I have already said you, we are depending upon satellite. Most of the communication is depending on satellites. This is the satellite which is transmitting. But when this particle comes, they produce eddy currents. You are familiar about the eddy currents. In the solar panels, in the body of the satellite, they charge, because the ions and electrons interacting, they charge the particle, and they will be change their location. So satellite is not able to rotate in its orbit. They change their orbit, and sometimes satellites enter the Earth gravitational field. If you are studying about the story of Skylab, Skylab was falling down. It is in 80s when I was a high school student. This story was very famous. Skylab is falling down. So this will happen, and satellite will change. Satellite will be interacted. Satellite will be degraded. The solar panels will be burned, and different satellites will be damaged. So satellite is designed for 2 years, it will damage in 1 year. Sometimes satellite is designed for 5 years, it will damage in 3 years due to this solar wave particle. This solar wave particle affecting our satellite system also. So satellite is not able to remain in the orbit. They change their orbit, their solar panels will be destroyed, their life will become so small, and sometimes they come in the Earth orbit and they will be totally crashed. So this happens. So space weather also affecting our satellites. So these videos I have given you to see visualize what are the space weather events and how they are affecting our there's a tremendous application, but some of the application I have tried to show. So you have seen that this sunspot, if there is plotted sunspot with the daily variation or monthly variation, there is a cyclic variation. And you will see here 1650 to 1700. If you see here, there is a very, very less number, and this is called ice age, Maunder minimum. And this is the ice age. You have seen the ice age 1, ice age 2, ice age 3. People have imagined then the solar activity is very low, then ice age will come. And here also you will see 1830, there was a low minimum. But nowadays the solar activity is very, very large, and there is a cyclic variation, and the variation has 11-year solar cycle. Each 11 year there is a maxima, there is a minimum. You will see there is a maximum, there is a minimum, there is a maximum, there is a minimum, and the difference, it is solar cycle. And till now we have completed the 24 solar cycle, and we are going here 2019, and the 24 solar cycle has just completed. 25 solar cycle has started. So it is a minimum period. 2019 was the minimum period, and now the solar cycle 25 has started. So cyclic variation has shown the solar activities. So what are the earth magnetic field? I have shown you how the cavity was seen, but now you can see the diagram. This is the earth magnetic field, which is known as magnetosphere. These are the different regions: plasma sphere, plasma sheet, magnetotail, neutral point, magnetosphere. There are several regions. This is the topic of space physics in our teaching. So magnetosphere is a very, very important. Magnetosphere not only occurs on Earth, it occurs on several planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. All magnetized planets have earth magnetic field. So not in the moon, because moon has no magnetic field, but other planetary missions, a planet have their magnetic field. So magnetosphere is also seen in the different planets. So this is a very, very important. And there's the ionosphere. Ionosphere is a layer of ionized particles, the ions and electron, in the height of around, you will see here, this is the ionosphere layer, this is the altitude, and this is the plasma density. You will see that electron density has a rise and then fall. So the region between 50 to 60 kilometer to 1000 kilometer is known as ionosphere. You will see here this diagram. So there are different layers: D layer, E layer, F1 layer. So ionospheric has a layered structure, and it varies from 50 to 60 kilometers up to 1000 kilometers. And this region is very important. This is night side, some layer will be merged, and day side. So you will see here, this is the night side, this is the day side. So ionosphere is a very important with different layers where ions and electrons are found here. These ions and electrons affects our communication. Satellite communication is affected. So some ions will be formed, so they affect the communication. So this study is very important for the communication purposes and improve the telecast and telecommunication. So in general, this diagram is made to show the space weather events. So a space weather event affects the astronauts, the life of astronauts. That's why the astronauts wear a special dress shirt. Our late Kalpana Chawla and Sunita Williams special dresses when they are going in the space, when they are repairing the International Space Station, when they are moving to repair their satellites, they have to wear the dresses. So their life safety is very important, because these energetic particles can damage their DNA and their life may be threatened. They also affect the different surfaces of the satellites. I have showed you different satellites. I have shown a video. Different satellites have been burned. They also affect the solar panels. The solar panel damages, and you know the solar panels give the energy to their whole system. So when solar panels will damage, the satellites will be not charged and their life will be in danger. They affect the ionosphere. This is the ionosphere. So plasma bubbles will be formed. So communication will be degraded. You have seen a video, the TV transmission, the satellite transmission, the satellite transmission will be affected. They also affect the cloud formation. This is a very important research. Recent cloud formation will be affected by the solar phenomena. Aviation passenger has a radiation damage. Aviation has a satellite communication. So GPS system will be affected. They are affecting the satellite signal. They are affecting our radar system. They are affecting our transmission and radio transmission. They are affecting our GPS navigation. They are also affecting the ground system, the power line. You will see that solar particle coming in the surface, that the cosmic rays particle, and they degrade the power line transmission. They affect our internet. Sometimes in US country, the internet was interrupted due to the space weather phenomena. Solar flare has come and infected the internet system. Because the earth current will be formed, the pipeline will have eroded. So different types of effect has been seen. A space weather has an influence. This cartoon has shown you the effect from the upper atmosphere to the ground system. And whole system will be affected when there is a space weather, when there is solar flare, when there is a coronal mass injection, when there is a plasma particle, so all system will be affected. So space weather is very important to study in research as well as for life and satellite systems. So aurora figure, you can see here, beautiful aurora. This is the photograph. This photograph is very beautiful because I have also visualized this aurora when I was in Sweden for 1 year. And I go to the countryside to see the light. And these photographs are beautiful. You can see the sky. Imagine if the sky becomes green, beautiful. And these are not stationary, they move. They move and they mix curling and folding. And you can see, beautiful, red sky. Suppose the sky becomes red, what happens? In the night time after sunset, and you can see the different types of. And another topic is the geometric storm. When these particles comes, they affect the earth magnetic field. So this is the earth magnetic field, and which is called geometric storm. So earth magnetic field has a change. So solar flare has come and earth magnetic field has a large change. So this is called geometric storm. So several hours or several days earth magnetic field is disturbed due to these plasma particles, due to the solar wind particles, due to the coronal mass injection. The earth magnetic field becomes disturbed, and few days earth magnetic field changes, which also affects various types of changes in our near earth environment. So I will not go into details here. So these are the facilities available at BHU physics department. These are the facilities available in physics department. We have a very high frequency receiver. This is the Yagi antenna, and we are recording the 250 megahertz signal here. We have a very low frequency receiver, that is the Whistler wave, and we are measuring the D layer of the ionosphere. We have a GPS. We have two GPS, Trimble GPS and GNSS receiver. So we are in the terrace of the physics department. This is the receiver. This is the GPS antenna, this antenna, and we are measuring continuously from 2007 to current day. We have two receivers, and we are measuring the ionospheric effect GPS signal. And we have a automatic weather station. You have visualized this physics department. When we enter in the physics department, outside in front of physics department, we have an automatic weather station to measure the temperature, pressure, humidity, and radiations. We have an automatic weather Whistler detector. It is installed in agriculture because it affects by the different types of electric field. So we have to change it in the agriculture. In the center of the field, we have an automatic Whistler detector. We have a LIDAR, that is the light detection and measurement. So this LIDAR sends the laser beam to the atmosphere, and which we use to study that 520 nanometer signal to study the aerosol particle, dust particle. We have a pair of microtopes for aerosol. Aerosol are the dust particle, polluted particle in the atmosphere. We study this, and then we have an ozonometer to study the ozone layer. Ozone is a very important layer in 30 kilometers. We are measuring ozone thickness, which is very important, and we have different instruments also. So these are the high volume samplers. These are the two samplers, 2.5 and 10. You are familiar with the particulate matter in the atmosphere. 2.5 is very dangerous, which we inhale and go to our lungs, and it is affecting our bronchitis. It is making so many diseases. Nowadays, these particles are coated with the coronavirus and enter our body. So nowadays, it is too much foggy weather and lots of pollutions are here. So that's why you have to wear a special type of mask. And these instruments we are running regularly in physics department to study the fine particles and the coarse particle study. And there is a net radiometer. This net radiometer is in the terrace. We are measuring the radiation coming up and down. And what is the difference between the radiations? And this is the amphilometer to study the black carbon. What is the black carbon? Because the black carbon is the absorbing aerosol. So this black carbon is the reason for global warming. This absorbs the solar radiation, and the temperature is rising and rising. It is a hot topic of. So we are measuring the black carbon at physics department. So these are the instruments installed in physics department in the atmospheric research laboratory to study the MSc physics student and PhD students. We have a solar measurement and telescope. This is a beautiful telescope we purchased 2 years back. And this is a solar telescope which has a solar filters of 99% blocking the ultraviolet radiation. It is fitted with this CCD camera. So there is a CCD camera and laptop. We are able to photograph the solar images in the terrace of the physics department. This telescope is there. So this telescope is very interesting, and we have set up the experiments. The solar limb darkening effect, sunspot we can measure, the solar radiation spectrum we can measure, solar rotation period. This is experiment of MSc students. So our MSc students are able to see the sun, and they measure the solar eclipse. They can measure the solar rotation period. Recently in June, 20th June, there is a partial solar eclipse, annular solar eclipse is seen, and our students have taken the beautiful photograph of this sun, and lots of measurement has been done. And you will surprised to know that a few minutes solar eclipse has able to give 4 research papers of high quality journal. So our students have measured 1 week measurement by this telescope, and 4 paper they have designed and they have submitted. One is already accepted, and 3 are in the process of publication. So it is a very interesting instrument, and you can see the star also. This telescope is good for a star, but a star we have to go night time, and our head of department had not allowed to measure in the night time. So that's why we are using it for solar measurements. It is dedicated to solar measurements. And I have a GPS. I have talked about the global position system, GPS. GPS is every modern mobiles have GPS. Global positioning system, you can measure the position of anywhere. Initially, when Vasco da Gama and the peoples are moving, they have a magnetic needle, and they move and they reach India, and sometimes they reach the West Indies also. But nowadays you have GPS, you can see where you are, latitude, longitude, height, any can be calculated. It has 3 segments: a space segment, control segment, and user segment. So space segments there are 24 satellites orbiting in different planes, and there is a monitoring station which is called ground station, control segments, and the user segment, any aviation, because aviation satellites, rockets, and nowadays all aeroplanes use the GPS because they have a path. So GPS will give you where to go. Anybody can use GPS. We are studying GPS, and in Scud missiles, GPS is used because you have to know the position of the another missile. So GPS is very important. So this is the satellites. You will see satellites are orbiting in 6 orbits. Each orbit there is a 4 satellites. So there is a 24 total satellites. We are moving, and any position of the world we are able to see. You will see here the visible is more than 6. Any spots in this globe is such that there is a more than 6 satellites, and only 4 satellites are released. They are sending signals with 1.5 gigahertz or 1.2 gigahertz, which we are using for our research purposes. But tremendous application of GPS is going. Every branch of science and technology, GPS is used. Remote sensing, GPS is used. Control stations are there all over the globe. There are so many control stations they have designed, and any person who have a GPS receiver can measure this. And mobile also, GPS are included in beautiful mobiles. So what are the uses in research? But just I will give you some glimpse of the research going on physics department. Effect of solar flares on ionospheric total electron content. So the solar flares are coming, the sunspots are coming, coronal mass is coming, they're emitting the particles. These particles and radiations come in the ionosphere, and here you will see that there is a large increase in the solar flux. This is the solar flux watt per meter square, and this is the solar flare, and large increase in there. And we are measuring the total electron content of the ionosphere by using GPS, and you will observe the GPS, due to this solar flare, the electron has gone to 40 to 50%. This is the March 25th, 2004. So 2008, and this is the direct increase. So this increase is due to the solar flares, and we have seen several changes in the solar flare. Ionosphere responses there. We have seen that there is a large change in the ionosphere. There is a large formation of the total electron content when there is a solar flare. This is the X-class solar flare, very intense, X6.9 flare. So different study. I'm not going in detail because it is out of your scope. So I will show you only the effect. And I have showed you the geometric storm is there. You will see the Earth magnetic field has changed. You will see the Earth magnetic field has changed. It goes to the minus 140 nanotesla. So Earth magnetic field has drastic change, and due to which the solar wind speed has increased, due to which the solar wind particle has increased, and due to which our electron density has increased. So we can see there is a direct evidence with this solar space weather phenomena to the Earth atmosphere. So there is a geometric storm also changes, and you will see the solar eclipse. This is one of the paper in last solar eclipse of 22nd July 2000, when Varanasi has experienced a beautiful eclipse in the morning, and you have total solar eclipse. This is the diagram. This diagram is taken by my telescope. Beautiful solar eclipses was photographed by telescope, and you can see how this electron density has changed. There is a change, around 100% change in the amplitude signal. The signal has changed. The signal amplitude will go when there is total eclipse, and it has confirmed that the signal coming from the satellites will be affected by this D layer of the ionosphere. So this study is published in different journals, and here you will also see the total electron content changes. I will not go in details of the research. This is the solar cycle variation. Recently, in total, it is the solar cycle 24, which started in 2000 or ended in 2018, 11 years solar cycle variation. You can see the solar flux. Solar flux is changing changing and goes to peak. This is the solar maximum period. These two are solar minimum period. And we have seen the total electron content is also changing. So this shows that the solar activity can change the ionospheric activity. So there is a direct evidence the solar activity will change the ionospheric activity. It change the all the activity at sun. So directly and indirectly, the solar phenomena is controlling the life on Earth. The space weather is very important to study. So these are the some of the study. This is the conclusion which we have done. The space weather events influences the whole ionosphere. It is affecting our ionosphere. They are affecting D layer as well as the F layer of the ionosphere. The D layer is affected by the X-ray flux and E layer and by the UV flux. Similarly, very geometric storm will also affect. So this is GPS position is also affected. That's why there is a great interest to study the space weather event. That's why space weather event is very important. So this is the first part which I have completed. So you have any problem? किसी कोई प्रॉब्लम हो रही है? फर्स्ट पार्ट मैंने बताया आपको स्पेस वेदर उसकी इफेक्ट के बारे में. ठीक है, हम एंड में डिस्कस जैसे मैंने बताया हम. बोलिए.
So there is no problem, but I request to ma'am and to you, both of you, can we have a field visit to the lab?
करेंगे. अभी देखिए कोरोना काल में कुछ नहीं होगा. अभी 1 महीना कुछ नहीं होगा. जब इंस्टीट्यूट खुलेगी, जब भी सब ठीक हो जाएगा तो वी कैन प्लान. ठीक है. So now I go to thank you. Now I go to the second part of our lecture. The second part is dedicated to the Indian space program. So being as running a project in space physics, as you are familiar that I am running a ISRO Space Science Promotion Scheme in Department of Physics. BHU is the part of the Indian Space Research Program. So I will presenting here you the Indian Space Program. What is going on in Indian Space Program? This is the Mangalyaan, you can see, and these are the different satellites moving in the space. So Indian Space Program is started by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. Indian Space Research Organization. This is the logo of the ISRO, and this is started by the humble beginning with our honorable Professor Kalam and Abhimudan. And Kalam was the person who has started the satellite technology, and it has a simple mantra: application of a space technology for the benefit of the common man. Application of a space technology for the benefit of the common man. So this is the ISRO mantras, and till now 77 launch vehicle missions has been launched. You will surprise INSAT series, Kalpana satellites, INSAT 3C, INSAT, and we have satellite launching, SLV, satellite launching vehicle, ASLV. We have a PSLV, polar satellite, which is most successful. Already more than 40 missions have been launched by the polar satellite launching vehicle. Recently, we are providing the GSLV, Global Geometric Satellite Launching Vehicle. So we have a polar satellite, we have a geostationary satellite launching. This is the geostationary satellite launching. The more heavier satellite will be launched, and Gaganyaan will be also launched by this. So these are the different types of launching. So India becomes a launching pad, and 77 launch vehicle missions have already been launched. You will be surprised that more than 200 satellites will be launched, and out of which 40 satellites are foreign country. India is earning lots of money. India started with the Aryabhat, satellite Aryabhat, INSAT, Kalpana, IRS, Indian Research Space Organization, and it is called Indian Remote Sensing Satellite, IRS-1D, IRS-P4, TAS, Resource Satellite, Cartosat, Hemosat, GSAT, INSAT. So you will be surprised that several satellites, 109 spacecraft missions, more than is launched, and each month we are launching. GSLV recently launched GSLV Mark III, and now we are launching. RadarSat was also launched already. So several satellites we are launching, and its tremendous application is there. So ISRO is making our flag. More than 5 decades has been gone. ISRO launchers are there. I have talked about the PSLV, GSLV Mark III. This is the heaviest, and it can carry more than 5,000 kg. More than 5,000 kg payload can be launched by the GSLV Mark III. So these are the satellite launchers. INSAT family is because we are using the telecast and telecommunication, and INSAT satellite is the satellite of a family for telecast and telecommunication. INSAT 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 3D, 4B, 2E, GSAT, INSAT 3A, 2B. So there are so many. Currently we are using the EJUSAT. education satellite. So these satellites are teaching education on different remote area. So this is the plan of our Indian Space Research Organization to teach people. So INSAT is not only communication, they are using the operation of the doctors. So doctors available in different expertise can give the direct live telecast, and you can make operation live by this satellite system. So tremendous application, education, you will see the applications. In the broadcast, I have showed television, DTH, TV, all broadcast is doing. Meteorological measurement can be done by the satellites. The already weather forecasting, disaster management is a very important, and it is used for mobile satellite services, search operations, satellite navigation, landslide peoples will be go there, and it is using the communication in VSAT connect technology. We are using in development emergency communication, tele-education, emergency, so many applications, almost all branch of science and technology we are using. And I have talked about the EduSat. Recently, video and audio are telecast by the satellites, and different band of K band, C band are used. There are several channels, and you can teach students of different by the satellites. Running classroom in the corona cases, several TV channel has been telecast, and several schools will be connected with the EduSat, and lots of teaching, online teaching is going on. So this is very successful in this era. So satellite is possible, and the teaching is possible from door to door, home to home. Anybody who has a mobile technology can tune their mobile, and they can get the education, tune their TV and get their education. They have reaching everywhere. So all hospitals, I have talked about the hospitals. So you will see that all hospitals are connected. All hospitals are connected by this 140 districts of rural hospitals, 44 super specialist hospitals, 180 hospitals are connected by these satellites, and television makes the medicine via satellites. Very, very important. Cardiological, video conferencing, and referral hospitals, expertise doctors, and you can make your cure your sophisticated, which was not possible initially. Now it is very much possible by the telemedicine via satellites. It is a very important application of satellites for this. This is the Indian Imaging Satellites, IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellites. Remote sensing satellite is a satellites which Earth observes the Earth. Bhaskar was the satellite when IRS. Indian remote satellites 1, 1B, 1, 2, P2, P3, P4. Year-wise, you can say this is going on Cartosat. Now we have not said IRS, we call it by its name. At the Cartosat, PM 2.5, I have talked about. Then Cartosat, Megha Troopers, and several satellites, and we are able to get a 1 meter resolution. We are able to see two objects separated by 1 meter. If you are moving in a hostel, and if you are wearing caps or without cap, I can identify who you are. So now we are able to track a person which is just 1 meter away. So these satellites are very important. Remote sensing satellites, Indian imaging satellites. So India has increased the powers. People are crossing the borders. Now we have a satellite which is known as RadarSat. And this RadarSat, we have focused on the India-Pakistan border. And any person who are trying to migrate from one region to another region, or any type of peoples, we are able to locate them, and then we alert our military, and they will destroy there. So this type of emergency people are doing, and India is becoming a power of the due to these satellites and their imaging systems. So we have agriculture. Agriculture is very, because we are living in agriculture. So agriculture and soil, crop area production, soil mitigation, watershed development, horticulture mission. So we can forecast daily. You will have surprised that Indian Meteorological Department is forecasting each day. Each day, our agriculture scientists are given the forecast, and you will get when you have to start your agriculture, when you have to start your harvesting, when you have to start your, lots of information they give. Similarly, the forest is very important, because forest fire is going on. Forest is a very rich, India is rich with forest. Sometimes you heard about the forest fire. Recently, California forest fire is going on. By satellites, we are able to find where forest fire is going on. Then we go aeroplanes to make. So forest research is also water research, where we have to make dam, where dam is important. So you need the remote sensing data of satellites of 50 years, and we design our different bridges as well as the dams. So it is very important. In weather and climate, Nowadays, beautiful forecasting we are going on. The forecasting of the hurricanes, India is able to give lots of Hudhud hurricane was very famous, and Fanny hurricane was also came. So we are able to give people's alerts, and this weather and climate satellites are able to give the few hour before and 2 to 3 days before alert, and people life will be saved. Initially, their life they destroy. They also in ocean, in fisheries. Suppose you have a laptop, you have internet, you can know where fish will be there. So by satellites, in Japanese peoples, they sail their boats to 50 kilometer away, and by one stretch they kept kgs of quintal of fishes, because fishes are not found everywhere. Fishes are found where there is a plankton plant is there, and some particular their crops are there. So people will use satellite for fisheries also. Disaster, I have said, flood, tsunami, flood, landslide, the satellites are helping. So you will see the earth observation has become very easy, simple, comfortable, and livable by the satellite technology. So India has also their GPS. India has started Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS, because GPS is an American system. Global Position System was the American system. Then Indian people thought, why not we make our own GPS? Then IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, was launched. There are total 7 satellites. Which will be launched. And now India has their one IRNS 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. And India has, so there are 7 satellites, 3 geostationary, 4 geostationary, and 4 geosynchronous. So they can orbit in 36 kilometers, because geostationary orbit is different, geosynchronous orbit is different. So these signals will move. So all these 7 satellites will able to track India and Indian regions. So whole India and surrounding can be tracked 24-hour basis. Minute to minute information. All our aviation, all aeroplanes will be tracked. Gagan program is there. So the aviation department, the military department, the navigation department, all connected with the IRNS system, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. So India is becoming a power day by day. And you heard about the Chandrayaan 1 mission. So I will give you some planetary missions. Chandrayaan mission in 2008, the Chandrayaan 1 launched. This is the mission to moon, first India mission to moon. India has launched satellites, so it starts to increase their orbit, and the satellite is designed such that each time there is a motor which increases its orbit, and lastly it was increased so that it will reach the earth, because the moon is rotating around the earth, and when moon reach here, they move with a faster speed, and they slow down and they track about the moon. So it reached around the initial orbit 1000 kilometers, but the final orbit was 100 kilometers, and Chandrayaan was moving 100 kilometers, and after few years it was lost. In 2010 it was lost, but recently it was again found by the American satellite, and people are trying to reach it, and again it is giving the information to Indian. But it was an orbital mission, Chandrayaan 1 mission. Then comes India's very important mission, that is the Mangalyaan. You have seen a movie on this Mangalyaan, so popular mission. This is a very popular mission. Yeah, it was awarded several prizes because it is started by PSLV XL. So PSLV satellite it is difficult because it is not a simple mission. You have to go away from the Earth gravitational field. So what happened? So there are 6 maneuver satellites. So you have to launch, and then each time you have to increase the motor to go farther and farther and farther. And the possibility is that at the same time the Mars must be here, because Mars is orbiting in a different orbit, Earth is orbiting in a different orbit. But the particular day was very important, and that particular day was the 5th November 2013 and 24th September 2014. So it has taken around 300 days to reach Earth to moon, Earth to Mars. And as soon as Mars will be here, it slowed down and it started orbiting. It is very beautifully given in the movie also. The total cost was only 450 crores. So this was very important. It has a two objective. One is the technological objective, another is the scientific objective. Technological objective to survive and perform different phases of long travel. So we have traveled 1 year. So every system must work perfectly, because some motor you have to start after 1 year. Suppose that you have to start one motor after 1 year, and it may be burned, it may be not able to start. So you imagine the beauty and the technology. Several systems we have to start, and also communicate. How you communicate from here to moon? You are using the remote twice, and in remote twice we will not able to sense, and you have to remote control from here to moon. A long communication, which is very important. The technological objective was very, and the scientific objective was to explore Mars surface, Mars morphology, mineralogy, Mars atmosphere, and different types of measurement and photograph of the Mars. And life of Mars is also very important. So a spacecraft was designed, and that is the IRS, PSLV, and the spacecraft have 84 kg, 135 kg, 180 kg is the mass propellant, and propulsions are 440 Newton thrust. This is the main engine. So you will see the Mangalyaan satellite, and there are different orbits. So I have said you, this is the orbit of the Earth, and this is the Sun, and Earth in orbiting this orbit in blue, and the yellow is the orbit of the Mars. So we have to start on 13th 11 and 30/11/2013, and we have to increase, and then we have to start our main engine 440, and we have to go out of the Earth orbit. So this green, initially we increase, and then we start this is the first orbit, that is we have to go along the gravitation of Earth. This is the second, we have to go the orbit of the Earth, and we have to go away from the orbit of the Earth, and then we have to reach the orbit of the Mars. When it will reach the orbit of the Mars, Mars must be here. So 3, when it reaches to the Mars, it has to be slowed down, and then it starts to orbiting, and then it will move along with the Mars. And you will be surprised that Mangalyaan is still working. It was designed for only 1 or 2 years, but after so many years, 2014, 13 it was launched, and now 2020. So from 6 years it is working. It may work several years. So this is the beauty of the this Mangalyaan mission. It has several sensors, Mars color camera, which photograph the weather and different images of the Mars. There is a thermal infrared imager. There is a methane sensor. Methane is a sensor important for the life. If methane is found there, the life on Mars will be detected. So methane sensor is very important. Martial exposure neutral composition analyzer. There is a Lyman alpha photometer. So the water on Mars, where water has been gone, because the surface water is not there, frozen water was found there. People are studying how the water has left, because there are terrains, there are rivers, there are valleys, but there is no water. There are lakes, dried lakes. So where water has gone, lots of studies going on by this sensor, Lyman alpha photometer. So there are several sensors of several objectives. I will not go details of the Mars. This is my favorite topic. Anytime we can study the Mangalyaan. Then came the prestigious, our honorable Prime Minister mission, Chandrayaan-2, the heart of the Indian people. Chandrayaan is very, very sensitive. Everybody has thought about the Chandrayaan-2 mission was a highly complex, because it has 3 parts. It has an orbiter, it has a lander, it has a rover. First time India has, because initially we are working on orbiter only. First time we have made the orbiter, lander, and rover. Orbiter will orbit in the particular orbits. Lander will land on the surface, and rover will robotic mission to move. And orbiter was still working with the goal of exploring south pole of the moon. It was landed on the south pole, but the spacecraft was launched, and the mission to Satish Space Launch Center, Andhra Pradesh, in 22nd July 2019 and 2:40 p.m. And GSLV Mark III was the satellite, and the craft reached the moon's orbit on 23rd August 1990. And you know the story. You know the story on the, it has landed on 6th September 2019. But what happens? It has a hard landing. The sad story of Chandrayaan-2. What was there is a hard landing. Our Vikram landed. The lander was the name Vikram Sarabhai, because the Vikram Sarabhai was the founder of the Indian Space Research Organization. So the lander was named by the Vikram Sarabhai, and it was called Vikram lander. But it was planned for a soft landing. But due to failure of the software, there was a software glitch, and due to which there is a hard landing, and the Vikram lander was destroyed, and we are not able to use our rover. So, but Chandrayaan mission was partially successful. Still orbiter is moving on and lots of information is coming on. And the second quarter of the 2021, we have planned a Chandrayaan 3. So we will try to land, and our Indian Space Exploration and our Honorable Prime Minister is a very, very planned missions. So we will not make it false in this time, and our scientists are gearing up for the success of the Chandrayaan 3. So next year, Chandrayaan 3 is scheduled. Chandrayaan 2, I have shown you already launcher, GSLV. There is an orbiter. This is going on already. And this is the lander, Vikram lander. So it has also several sensors. These sensors are still working because the orbiter is going on. This is the camera, terrain mapping camera. So this is already going on. And we have large scale software photometer. This is going on. So time is ticking, so I will just go. Aditya mission is a very, very important mission. The mission for sun. Aditya, you know, Aditya is the name of the god sun. And Aditya mission is designed, it was to launch in 2020, but due to this corona, it is delayed, and it will be launched in 2021. The rocket is PSLV, and the launching site is Satish Dhawan Space Center. So this will be able to reach the sun and any change in the space weather. This is the space weather satellite. This is the space weather satellite. These satellites will photograph the solar flare. This satellite will photograph the coronal mass injection. This satellite which will be sunspots. Very, very beautiful close images, and it will launch, and it will go up to 400 kilograms size, and a small satellite, but it is a very, very successful mission to sun. And next year this will be launched. Successful mission of Aditya mission. Gaganyaan is, you are familiar. Gaganyaan is the version 2. This is a very, very prestigious of our Honorable Prime Minister. Gaganyaan is the crewed mission, manned mission to space. Still most of the missions are unmanned, but now India has started to send persons, 3 persons in the space, and the Gaganyaan mission is planned. 3 people will go in this space, and it will reach up to 400 kilometer height, and 7 days. The satellites, there are 3 persons can sit. You will see there is this 3 person can sit. Your design is such that there is 3 person can sit here, and they can move 7 days in this space, and they will do several experiments. The DRDO and our HAL, manufacturer of this crew, and DRDO will provide support to human system. They will give food, healthcare, radiation protection, because you know the space where radiation protection is very needed. Otherwise, solar wind particles will affect their life. Coronal mass injection for their life. So they need to protect by this radiation. They need food also. So how their life will be next? And it is interesting that one astronaut will be girl. Already several people have been given training. Already 7 people have been selected, and training is going on. And our Prime Minister has said that 1 crew will be girl. That is very interesting. So out of 3, 1 will be girl, and they will go in this space, and they will go. This is also delayed, and it will go in the next year, around July 2021. And the next mission is the mission to asteroid, because asteroid people will know about the formation of the sun. So this is the very important, and comet and asteroid, it will be possible in 2020. There are several missions. I am not talking about all. So here I will give you the internship, because Professor Neelam has said that students are very much interested to go internship in the space physics, and it is really interesting to get summer internship, winter internship, some special program of the different institutions. So please note down this, the vocation students program at IUCAA. It is a center of International Union of the Astronomy and Astrophysics at Pune. IUCAA is the international center for astronomy and astrophysics in Pune. So any student, they have a program which is known as Vacational Student Program of 2.5 months. In each vacations in the summer, they send students to go there and to do their experiments, to live there. They will provide the to and fro, and also 2,000 to 5,000 per month stipend. And you can learn the telescope, you can learn different, you can design your own telescope. They have a training program also of telescope. So lots of astronomical experiments is going on. Beautiful of IUCAA. Any student of BSc Part 2, Part 1 and Part 3 can go there. This is interesting program. Another program is by PRL, Physical Research Laboratory. Currently the director of PRL, Professor Anil Bhardwaj is from Banaras Hindu University. He is alumni of Banaras University. He visited several, last year also he was in Banaras University. I have invited him to give a lecture on physics department. And he has said that he welcome always the students of BHU, and he will provide the accommodation as well as the internship. And they have a program, summer internship program. So next summer, March to July. So there is a 2 month, 6 to 8 week program there is there. Summer internship program and physical research laboratory Ahmedabad. This is a very interesting program for students. There is internship at SAC, Satellite Application Center at Ahmedabad. One of my students is scientist there. You will surprise that MSc student, one of my, I will be very happy to say that one of my students of physics department who got gold medal and directly admitted to SAC Ahmedabad as a scientist C. So C is there. C is one of, I always feel proud of my students. So they go to this Ahmedabad and they are learning the satellite applications. There is a visiting students program at TFI, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. So Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai has a special program at UTI in a space laboratory. So they have a visiting student research program at TFIR. So you can go on the internet, you can go to Google search, and you will find this. I have also searched from there. There is a program of TFIR. There is a Indian Institute of Remote Sensing in Dehradun. In Dehradun, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, they have a special program for their students, and they also train the student for project. Any student on BHU can go for the project in BSc and MSc classes for 2 weeks, for 4 weeks, and they will provide you some facilities and some research. National Asymptotic Research Laboratory, NARL. NARL is a ISRO laboratory at Gadanki, Tirupati. And they have also a special program. My friend is director there. Professor Patra is there. He visited last year in BHU, and he has said that I will welcome the Banaras Hindu students, especially girl students also. They will go, they can get training. So mostly BSc and MSc students can go. There are so many. I have listed only 6. But there are so many institutes who welcome the BHU student, and each year our students are going for internship in space physics, the plasma physics. There is an institute dedicated to plasma research, the IPR, Indian Institute of Plasma Research, IPR, where plasma, tokamak, plasma instruments are there. You can go there also as a good modeling as well as the experiments. So my work is
So bio students can also go.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Bio can also go. There is a biological experiment also going on this space. They need the bio student to know about the gene experiments, to do about the gene therapy, to do about the plantation in a space. Recently, a flower was bloomed in this space. International Space Station, you are familiar with this. You can go on the Google and you will see International Space Station is the station in the space where 3-room laboratory is there. Anybody can go. Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams, they will go there. They do the experiments, and they have blossom flower there. That is beautiful. Biological students also can go. So now the lecture is open for discussions and queries and questions.
Students.
Yeah, I have tried.
Students.
If you have any question, you want to ask any question, you can ask.
Sir, satellite की line.
हाँ बोलिए.
Sir, how does the satellite work?
Satellite work से मतलब भाई it is a very broad question. Satellite काम करने के लिए पहले तो satellite को उस orbit में पहुंचाना होता है. There are different orbits. उस orbits में पहुंचाने के लिए there are rockets. The rockets will give a speed to satellites, and we can reach. There are 2 types of orbits. There are several types of, but 2 main orbits. One is known as geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is around 6.6 Earth radius, that is 36,000 kilometer height, and we send the satellite at a particular horizontal speed, and then they will not return back to Earth. They start rotating about the sun in a geostationary orbit. So this is the way you send the satellite by a rocket, give a horizontal speed, and leave them, and they start rotating. Another type of orbit is the polar orbit. Here you need satellite to particular speed, and the particular speed will move to the geostationary orbit. So geostationary, polar orbit, there are several orbits. Satellite working is not so simple. There is a full topic. you can learn, and I will give you some, particularly how satellites work is a different topic and different
सर
what.
सर जैसे एक के फोन में, जैसे हम लोग को मतलब 12th में ये सब पढ़े थे सर, जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट वगैरह सर, जैसे किसी को रिंग करना है तो फिर मतलब सर बताते थे कि जाता है, फिर फ्रीक्वेंसी मैच होता है तो फोन रिंग होता है, तो सर ऐसा ही कुछ कुछ रहता है।
वो तो कम्युनिकेशन हो गया। होता क्या है कि देयर इज ए रिसीवर, वन रिसीवर इन अर्थ, वन रिसीवर ऑन सैटेलाइट, वन रिसीवर ऑन द यूजर। सो देयर आर थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ रिसीवर। सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन की जब बात करते हैं, व्हेन टॉक अबाउट सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन, देयर इज ए अपलिंक फ्रीक्वेंसी एंड देयर इज ए डाउनलिंक फ्रीक्वेंसी। Uplink frequency will connect the transmitter to the, suppose there is a Delhi TV transmission. So Delhi TV transmitter will telecast his signal with a uplink frequency and it will connect to the INSAT satellites. And then the downlink frequency. The downlink frequency will from INSAT satellite to any person who has a TV receiver, mobile receiver. You tune your receiver and then you go. So there are different frequency bands. There is a K band, there is a L band, there is a Chi band. So different bands are allotted, different channels have different bands, different frequencies. But it is a simple communication. This is not how satellite works. This is the communication, satellite communication. And we have a full paper in physics department. When you come to the physics department for MSc physics in space physics, we have a full paper of satellite communication, how satellite communication works. Then it is a full topic of a full paper.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
सर सैटेलाइट की लाइफ लिमिट किन फैक्टर्स पर डिपेंड करती है?
वो खुशी मिस खुशी, तो सैटेलाइट की जो लाइफ है वो डिपेंड करती है कि उसकी कितने दिन डिजाइन किए। पहले जब आप डिजाइन करते हैं तो उस पर सोलर पैनल लगाते हैं, उस पर बैटरी रखते हैं। जो सोलर पैनल्स होते हैं वो बैटरी को चार्ज करते रहते हैं। द बैटरी इज चार्ज बाय द सोलर पैनल, so दे हैव गिव पावर। तो पावर चाहिए, तो पावर आप जानते हैं कोई भी एनी बैटरी एनी सिस्टम हैव ए लाइफ ऑफ 3 years, 4 years, 2 years. So this designed on the power of those systems, because you can't give any power. Mobile power आपने चार्ज करते हैं, वो भी उसका भी लाइफ है 5 साल 7 साल। So every satellites have power depending upon their batteries, their system, their capacity. So nowadays we are increasing, but initial satellites are only for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. That's why INSAT 1, INSAT B, INSAT C, INSAT C each have a 2 to 4 years life. So mostly 2 to 4 year life is there. But now we have a beautiful batteries, lithium battery. Professor Neelam is working on the batteries also. Bhaskar Bhattacharya is working on battery also. So they are improving the battery life. So now we hope more life, because power is needed. Power is needed. Okay. So there are several factors.
ओके सर।
Okay.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
हाँ, मिस
सर
शिवानी।
बाहर जाने से पहले, बाहर की यूनिवर्सिटीज के अंदर इंटर्नशिप करने से पहले अगर हम बीएचयू में इंटर्नशिप करना चाहें तो कैसे कर सकते हैं?
This is the problem in BHU, because in science faculty and in BHU we have not any official internship program. It is a very, very pathetic condition. In IIT BHU has a placement and training section. They will give you the training and placement, and they will give you the internship. But particularly in science faculty, there is no any official internship program. You can do unofficial. I mean, you contact any person or a field and you can work, but there is not any official. Because I have talked to head of department, I have talked to dean of and director. They say university is not going to provide any fund, institute is not going to any hostel facility, institute are not supporting because they have not fund. So you can do, if students are interested, if myself is interested, supervisor and students can make a common understanding, and you have to arrange on your accommodation, and you can do. It is not. I have several students are coming in physics department from Banasthali. Several girl students are coming from Banasthali. Each year, 2 to 3 official students. Amity University also sent last year 2 students to me. Banasthali students. So they are coming to BHU, and depending upon their interest in material science, there is nanotechnology lab, Professor Anchal lab, they are coming. In physics department lab, Professor PK Singh. So what are their interests? They are coming and they are doing. But it is not any official university program. It is personal program. Okay. Hello.
ओके, थैंक यू।
Any other query, question?
Any student? If there is no question, then I will say that Thank you very much, sir, for introducing the student with such a nice topic. And I hope that, dear students, you have understood this topic nicely. And sir has given you the introduction to the field, and now it is up to you that how much hard work you put in to contribute in future Indian space program. I hope many to see out of you to at the ISRO. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving your
Thank you.
such a detailed information regarding different space program and internships. The students must be benefited by all these. And thank you for special thanks for giving your time, valuable time on Sunday, because I organized even.
Yeah, it is not a problem. Teaching a students is always, because I am basically a teacher. My first priority is always a teaching and interacting with the young students, young minds. And you are also doing a very good job, Professor Neelam, to making these lectures. This is a very important need of the day. We can't avoid. So you are
Yes,
taking
sir.
so much praise. Thanks to you also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, students. Thank you.
Thank you to
Thank you
all of
both,
you.
sir and
Bye.
ma'am, very much. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Bye.
ma'am and
See
sir.
you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.